Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on Forza Horizon 5 for some more multiplayer racing. For this session, we are going racing with B-class cars that must weigh 4,000 pounds or more, which is about 1,800 kilos. I don't know if I've been clever or brave or what I've gone for here. I've got the Ford Ranger Dakar truck. Now, I'm not expecting amazing things from it, but there's a little bit of a hope. It's on standard tyres, which probably isn't great. However, I have chucked the engine out. It's got a supercharged V8 in it, which I do know is a good engine. So, it should have a good engine, but I think it's going to be a bit of a handful. Apparently, the game reckons it can do 180 miles an hour, which would be a staggering amount of speed. I know it's a race vehicle, of course, but it's a Dakar rally raid vehicle. It's not designed for doing 180 miles an hour in a straight line, sort of more 100 miles an hour across every single bit of terrain. I wouldn't have thought the aerodynamics would have allowed it to get to 180, if I'm perfectly honest with you, because that is a ridiculous amount of speed for a vehicle like this. Of course, not everybody has gone down the truck route. We have a bunch of internet connection problems going on. That's fun. Of course, you can get a car, to be weighing this sort of amount. In fact, the RS6 is an interesting choice. I like that choice. But you've got, of course, some classic American boats, things like a Crown Vic or the Tornado. Both very, very heavy vehicles to begin with. I like the thought of the Oldsmobile as well. That could be quite strong. And then there's, the expected collection of SUVs and trucks. Cherokee, we've got a Ranger Raptor and a normal Raptor, and me with a Ranger T6. I don't know who's going to come out of the Ford battle of this on top. There's a Wrangler involved as well. At some point, this race might get started. I feel like the connections have kind of screwed us a lot in this. There we go. Gotta love Forza. You have really got to love Forza. We should be half decent off the line. So we are about 4,300 pounds. So we're not quite all the way down at the very bottom of the weight limit. But we're a reasonable weight. Of course, it's the handling that's going to let me down. This is where we're going to have to be wary, to say the least. It's currently me and, is that the Ranger Raptor, I think it might be, having a little bit of a battle. It's going to be who has got more power and who has got more grip. It does look like we have got more straight line speed here. Not by much. Not by much. It's to the outside. Now got a Colorado coming to join in the fun. Do I kind of wish I had off-road race tyres? Absolutely, I do. That would be the sensible thing to go for, really, with these vehicles. However, if I did, I'd be stuck with the standard diesel engine, which is not great. So this is a brute force approach that may or may not work. It might struggle at this track. This is not the easiest of tracks, although we can defend. Gliska is appearing with the McCann. The RS6 is involved. We're going to go run away as quickly as we possibly can. Okay, it's rapid down the straights, this thing. It is absolutely rapid down these straights. It's faster than I was kind of expecting it to be. So it's going to be a run away down the straight and then desperately cling on through the corners and hope. We're going to be very annoying to overtake. However, I think we're going to be a bit too much of a handful in the corner at the end of the day, but it's a fun way to go. It's a fun. Haven't had one of these for a while, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I will be interested to see if we can fend off. I know the Colorado's good. I've got one in B class actually. I think I've even ran one. It might have been for a heavyweight thing. I know I have a B class one. It's a pretty solid choice of car. We're going to not give the easy pass, essentially. I mean, even if they fired up the inside, I think we've got so much acceleration out of this final corner, we could probably outrun them to the line, maybe. Unfortunately, this time around, they're not scrapping as much with each other. That's a little bit of a shame. That's kind of what we need in this. The more they fight for second, the better it is for me. Gliska's got stuck fighting with an Audi, and if the Audi can, continue that fight, that's great news. Colorado's having a look at a place it hasn't really been far enough alongside before. We are going to try. I've got to be a little bit careful. I don't want to squeeze them. However, I have so little handling. I'm really on edge with getting it into some of these corners. We are in a spot of bother now. The Colorado is closer than it's ever been. So now, for me, it's going to be a game of just try and park it, but it's got too much grip for us. That has just got too much grip through these corners. There is nothing I can do about it in the end. I tried to park it on the inside, but we just understeered a little bit too far wide, and it is through. And now we've got Gliska lining up behind to have a look. I mean, we're going to go and run after it down towards turn 1, which is fine, which is all well and good. And if it makes a mistake, we could be in a right place, but it really was a slightly losing battle. A fun losing battle, but it was the losing battle in all of this. And now it's our turn to frustrate Gliska as they tried to look for a way past. I mean, this time around, we're not held up, and it has run a little bit wide. Now, if I hadn't hit that wall, we might have been in a much better place for this. We may force them to defend and lose a little bit of time through here. However, it's not going to be enough, I don't think. We can't send it. I mean, as tempting as it is just to launch it up the inside, we are on a slightly tighter line. I can't just send it there because we'll never stop in time. We'll never get it turned in time. So the vehicle survives in the lead. One more lap to try and hold on to this second place. Park the Ranger on the apex. Gliska's trying to get underneath. They'll draw alongside, but once again, we will just power away as we hit the straight. This is actually better than I thought it was going to be. I know we're in a field of heavyweights. It's, you know, everything's a little bit chunky and a bit difficult to handle. But this, I mean, I knew it was going to be a tough thing to drive. I knew it wasn't going to be great, the twisty stuff. And that is definitely the case here. But it's pretty solid in terms of a vehicle, really. We've actually pulled quite nicely clear of Gliska. It's not as terrible in the corners as I thought it was going to be. But this is where we are really, really susceptible. This final section. The first part of the lap's not too bad. It's quite fast. This second part of the lap is where we're going to come under massive fire here. I've got to get off here well. Gliska's going to look to the outside. I know they're going to be looking here. We're going to try and cover this as best we can. Down the bottom, I've actually got a little bit deep. The McCann is having a look. Oh, and the McCann has had a little bit too much of a look there. Yeah, Gliska just got understeer mid-corner. This is unfortunate. In the end, the Audi profits the most. We do squeeze a podium. It was very much a defensive race for me there. I just had to use my straight line speed to try and fend off anything else. Gliska's car was a bit faster. We were just able to be fast in the right places around there to make it awkward. Make it difficult to pass. Very similar lap time, actually, from all this. Sorry, it wasn't a bloody Colorado. It was the Ranger Raptor. I don't know why I get those two confused. There was a Colorado around somewhere. Might have been one of the ones that disconnected. But there we go. It is an exciting first race, actually. Gotta say, it was a great first race. Yeah, my vehicle has its strengths. It certainly has its weaknesses. It should be a fun thing to drive, though. So, we head into our next race. Now, this is a rather fast, kind of temple scramble circuit. Rather fast track, which is good for me, but I don't have off-road race tyres, and a lot of these vehicles do, which is bad for me. So, I don't know, we'll make up some time down the straights. I think we're going to be too much of a handful in the corners to really be all that... In a weird way, I think we're going to be better at fast tarmac circuits than we are fast off-road. We're all-wheel drive, sure, but I suspect most things here are. Couple of people might have tried a rear-wheel drive, but I'm not sure if many will have gone for it, and if you have, it's going to suck here, I'm afraid. But yeah, this is a track where if we started on pole, we could maybe spring a surprise, but we're going to have to not only work our way through the pack, but in a vehicle that is not going to be all too... I mean, it's an off-road vehicle. The standard tyres are off-road orientated. They're better than most vehicles, but they're not off-road race tyres. And anyone on those is going to have a significant grip advantage to me. Of course, the grip advantage doesn't matter in a straight line, but it really does through a corner like this, for example. So, actually, this one here is perhaps an even bigger one. We will see. We'll see how it goes. The RS6, that might struggle to have off-road race tyres on, just because it runs out of PI, I would expect. We are going to use the power of the supercharged V8 in the Ranger to catapult ourselves up into a 4th place and then get ourselves slowed down. The RS6 is having a look to the inside. The Cherokee was having a look around wide, but I don't think it's quite made that one stick. They can squabble amongst themselves. So it is, I think, the two Fords up at the front having a squabble. Gliska is in 3rd on the podium. We're going to try and run away from an Audi, which... As much as I like an RS6, of course, I don't want one following me at this particular moment in time. So yeah, this hill, for example, will make up some time, but then we're going to struggle a little bit down here. The car is just not going to grip. I mean, not only is it not quite as grippy just in general as the vehicles around it, I've had no PI for tyre widths on this. It's on its standard tyre, which is about 245s, which is not very big. So it's not only has it not got the right tyres, it's actually got relatively small tyres. All things considered. I know in real life it's different, but in Forza, just big tyres off-road are the way to go by a very long way. So, yeah, there's that. It is the Ranger that is back up to the front of the field by the looks of it. I mean, my best hope is that Gliska can catch and they can fight each other and slow each other down, really. I think it's a little bit of a forlorn hope. Well, not too shabby, though, considering. In fact, the RS6 is actually also doing quite well, considering it is very much a vehicle, a bit of an odd one out in this top group. There's all these trucks and SUVs and one saloon car. And well, there's a Chevelle actually also holding on in sixth place, which is not too bad going. I think I'm probably going to bump that wall quite a few times, if I'm honest with you. I'm trying not to. It's just trying to figure out how fast you can get away within this. It's a bit of a learning experience, shall we say. Oh, come on. Come on, Ranger. We can make a corner, and the next wall as well is going to be one that we probably give a smack to on occasion. We are actually that time around much better through there. But again, you can see the difference in speed the RS6 can carry. We're now going to run away from it down a straight, but yeah, you get the idea. I think we're going to be a lot more defending this fourth than we are really attacking the cars ahead, as the RS6 is already now having a look. It has got the overlap. It will be to the inside through here. We'll pinch it down to the inside, make it a difficult pass, and if we can get on the power through here, we might be able to fend it off into the next corner, which we do. The Ranger has found some acceleration. We will kind of defend down the bottom here. I'm going a little early on the brakes just to make sure we park it on the apex. The Audi is having a look every which way, but it's not going to be passed. And then it's out of range down here. One Ranger gets some acceleration. It has a look on the inside for the exit. And Ford just pulls. It's gone. It is a rocket ship in a straight line. That might be what keeps me ahead of the RS6. I'm going to have to be super careful through this section here, because the Audi will be closing it. It's a hell of a lot closer than it has been previously. But it is tough to pass through this section. It is very, very quick. There's very little in the way of braking zones, very little in the way of passing opportunities, and we are nice enough. A little kiss on the wall, not what we needed, but nice enough out of the final corner. It didn't lose us as much momentum as it could have done, but we are going to have to very much kind of park this car in the middle of the road a little bit, and it's continuing to annoy an Audi is what we're doing at the moment. Just make the Ranger really wide, make it really difficult to pass. It might try and have a look, so it can get up the inside here, but it wouldn't matter. In fact, I've been slowing it down so much, the Chevelle's caught up. And because this driving slows me down as well, because we're parking it in the middle of the track, we're defending, so we're not on the optimum racing line in places. We're braking maybe a smidge early just to make sure we can cover any gaps, and that will slow us down. That will bring the Chevelle into the party pretty much. That is better from me this time around. The Audi is further back. It can't draw alongside, and this hill is by far and away the strongest point on the track for us. Yeah, we can't match the top vehicles. They're just too fast for us, and I think their tyres are just too good. Even with the longer straights here, it's just not enough for me to be making up the lap time. We can get around this final section nicely and head towards the finish line. A fourth place, though, would not be a bad result, all things considered. Oh dear, although that would not be what we needed to do. That is a big hit on the wall that I did not want. The Audi got closer there. Ooh. Yeah, that's a bit of a dodgy final corner. Not really what I needed, but we crossed the line in fourth. Did not have pace at the top. The Chevelle was pretty quick, actually. Chevelle was not bad at all in the 19s. No one had an answer for the Ranger Raptor. The two ahead were quite a bit quicker than me as well. So yeah, we had a very fun race over fourth, but no catching the top vehicles. We are off to the Garden Circuit for our next race. An interesting prospect. Definitely an interesting prospect for me. A lot of understeer for me. We might be able to launch quickly. We know we're going to be probably fighting for 4th or 5th really in this, although there is a potential. We can launch well, so we should launch clear of the RS6, maybe the Wrangler. We may. It's a very short run into turn 1 though here. Not sure we can quite beat the Ranger Raptor into turn 1. If we can get out though of this first section out of ghost mode in 2nd, we could be an absolute pain in the arse to overtake. That's basically my goal here. My goal is to be the most annoying vehicle to overtake in all the race. We will launch away cleanly indeed. We're not going to clear that that leader. Didn't really expect to. Now my hope is, so we're going to lose a little bit of time here to the Jeep, but then we should outstrip it here, and then we're going to be out of ghost mode coming through this double left at some point, and then we will be in defense mode. So my race is going to be make a wide roadblock. It's been a while since I've had one of these. It's been a while since I've done a session like this. In fact, probably not since Horizon 4 have I really had a vehicle like this. And this is not the easiest track to overtake on either. It's not great suited to my vehicle here at all. I think the only thing suited to mine is a straight line, really. But yeah, on the whole, this is not going to be a great track for my car in terms of lap time. It's probably not the worst thing in the world. There are a couple of straights, but you see it's such a handful through there. That sort of slide might cost me some time. But yeah, we are going to be just on maximum defensing. And what is helping me is there's a big squabble going on behind. I mean, the leader's very far gone. Speed Beast is there having a look, but can't do anything to get past. And as we leave the corner, we just bugger off into the distance. So Speed Beast isn't going to be close enough through here. Now, their best bet might be to the inside through here. Well, guess what? I'm aware of that, because that's the sort of manoeuvre I like to do. We'll park it on the apex, we'll back them all up, and then we'll run away again. And then we hope that they start fighting each other. Gliska and Digging are all going to catch up into this fight. Now, this works for up until one of two things happen. Either they are too fast and they find a way past me, either they sneak up the inside, they drive clean around the outside of me, or I make a mistake. Pretty much. That's generally how this one goes. I mean, last lap around, if they'd been closer, they could very well have capitalised on my mistake in the final corner. So this final corner is not an easy corner to pass on. If you can get a good run, you can get maybe to the inside at turn 1. We were a lot better that time around, so we're going to have to keep doing that. And turn 1 is going to be so critical for me. I cannot afford to make a mistake into turn 1. If I end up out wide in that wall, we could lose all 3 places pretty much. So yeah, my goal is going to be just hold on to 2nd. I can't match the leader. There's nothing I can do about Noobs' car. That's just too fast for me. But what I can do is make the Ranger very wide and very difficult to pass. So again, we send Speed Beast the long way round. They can't get the drive off the corner out there, and we will hold on to 2nd place here. And Gliska's fighting with the Audi. That's what we want to see. Keep squabbling, keep fighting. Ford, run away some more. I'd love a bit more straight line speed, but you know, always want more. I'd love a bit more grip, actually, more than anything. But, you know, this is what we're working with. So I've got... The thing with me is, this is actually very difficult in as far as I have to be so perfect through these corners so no one's in range of a braking zone. Because the second they're in range, they are all going to pounce on the Ranger, and there is very little I can do about it. So I have to be absolutely perfect through turn 1. And the Cherokee, is wanting to help me go a little bit wide, can't do it. Again, we're off the first corner cleanly. We're out of range by the double left, and we're carrying just enough speed. This is where we are so vulnerable. The Cherokee actually overdrove it. This is where we're so vulnerable, is this corner. The Cherokee will get to the inside, don't care. Not a problem this time around, because we've got the drive on the exit, and now Gliska's turned up to fight Speed Beast for that position. We're going to be a little wide on the exit ourselves here, which is a concern. Gliska's underneath. We're going to try and shut the door, but again, we'll out-accelerate them. Speed Beast is going to maybe lose out to the Audi. There's going to be a lot of people very annoyed staring at the back of this car. Staring at the 2 spare wheels in the bed of the Ranger, because it is so very difficult to pass. We're nicely through the final corner. Gliska's having a look. Now, Gliska is a lot closer than anyone else has been so far. They might try... I've got too much understeer into turn 1. We're in trouble. Yeah, I just ran it in too deep. God damn it. That is not what we needed. That is not what we needed, and I don't need to get sent the long way around here, because I won't hold that. Speed Beast will run it in there with just a little bit more speed. Oh, I tried. I held on for as absolutely long as I could. That's what I said. As soon as you make a mistake in it, it's game over. There's just nothing you can do. I'm going to ping the wall through there as I'm pushing a bit too hard. Yeah, there's only so much that you can do. We're not going to be close enough to have a look at Speed Beast. My hope is that Speed Beast may be a little slow on the exit here, but actually does a great job of getting off that corner. We might be able to fire it up the inside by the bottom of the hill, send Speed Beast a very long way round. Speed Beast will not want to have to fight this battle. We will send it to the inside. Speed Beast is still there. We give space. Space is fairly given for both of us. Speed Beast doesn't squeeze us. We don't squeeze them. I fought everything. I gave everything for the Ranger. I don't know what happened to the RS6. It must have missed a checkpoint somewhere. Oh, that's so hard to drive. It's great fun. I'm very much enjoying this race. It's not the best thing I've ever built. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I fended off, and it was just a bit too much understeer in turn 1. Killed us. Just a little bit too much understeer killed us. And that was that. But, gutted I missed out on a podium, but it was a great race. Sorry to everybody stuck behind the great Ranger train. We are back off road for our next race, the Horizon Baja Scramble. Again, I think we might be about a 4th place car here, really. Again, if we can have a good start, there are some longer straights, but honestly, our handling is going to let us down quite a lot here. We might even struggle to get into the 4th. It'll depend, though, because once again, we have an alright spot on the grid. We launch nicely. Speed Beast has got the handling over us. I'm not sure quite what tyres they're on. I presume off-road race, perhaps. We might get the lead of the race just because it's a little bit of a run down towards the twisty bits. I'm hoping we will come out of ghost mode at the right time. We do not. I mean, ultimately, we're never going to keep up with the Ranger Raptor. We've seen that thing is too fast. Speed Beast struggle with a load of understeer through there. End up out to the wall. Maybe they've gone for a different route. Maybe they've gone for non-off-roady tyres. I don't know. Don't know if you do that here, but maybe. It's definitely a route. And I know through some of these corners we can run the truck in, try and use the banking. Oh, we actually end up giving them a little bit of a bump through there. Not quite what I intended on. Try to use the banking to help me turn, because, well, I need every bit of help that I can get here. We can use the speed, but it's the corner speed that's the problem for us as we head into the hairpin. We will again take a very defensive line. Blisker is going to get underneath eventually, just as we try to get the power down. We understeer wide. We should outrun them towards the final corner. Here goes the Ranger. This is another one of these very much it's a matter of time sort of a thing, I think, with Blisker's McCann. I do believe that is a little bit too quick for me. And we just can't take the speed through turn 1. This is one of the areas we will be struggling in. That Porsche is all over the back of us. Speed Beast has fallen back a smidge, which gives me some hope that maybe a podium is not entirely out of the question here. Now we will have to really get the truck slowed through here. Blisker can just get the front end to behave in ways that I simply can't. Oh, yeah, and then that's just all the understeer in the world mid-corner there. I don't quite know how that one happened, but we just decided to not steer. That was a full lock, and I guess we just got a turning point wrong, and it really didn't want to behave. And the other concerning part for me, of course, is the Raptor that is chasing us down. That, well, bloody hell, that has also got much better tyres than I do, and it's pretty rapid in a straight line, so I don't have as bigger advantage over it in the straights as everyone else, although it doesn't have as bigger advantage in the corners, but it is still better than me. So we will try... Oh no, we're not going to try and hold that off there. I'm going to be better off just focusing on trying to get an exit here, I think. Just not got the grip to fight it, but we will run quickly out. I mean, yeah, we've got more straight line. You've got even more straight line speed than that thing, which is saying something in this. It was a little bit of a sneaky pass, but I think it's one of those that, yes, it was a little bit sneaky, but it's only going to be a matter of time as they return the favour into turn 1, which is pretty fair. I just can't live with the grip of everything else in these dirt turns. We will cross them over in the air, and we will take this one back for a moment. If I can pull it up in time, which I struggle to, we're going to go for a kind of cutback maneuver, so to speak. Front end just doesn't dig in there. That's where I'm losing all my time. It just doesn't want to bite at all at that point. It just doesn't turn, and that's the tyres for you. You know, the stock tyre compound on this isn't bad out here, but it's not good enough. against things like that Raptor, like the Porsche or like the Ranger that is leading the way. So yeah, that's always going to pass. We've now got to deal with potentially the Chevelle that's having a good run out here, along with the Cherokee. It's good showing for the Chevelle, actually. Again, much like with the Audi has been in some of these races, it's by far away the highest placed of the non-SUVs, and it's taking it to the Audi's there as well. Those two are mixing up with the SUVs. Not that they can quite match the pace of the vehicles at the front, unfortunately. We will bomb our way around the final corner, and it is one more lap to go to hold on to another 4th place here. We have been nothing if not consistent. It's different vehicles ahead of us, but we like our 4th place. We've had 1 podium, and the rest are all 4ths, and unless we do something massively stupid or someone behind finds a lot of speed, it does look like we are heading that way. This section's so bad for me. Come on. Come on, Ford. Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. I mean, it's not great. It's a great battle going on behind. Not a great line for me. We're just so slow through there. We must lose a good probably second a lap almost at just that one corner. The rest of the track we're not terrible at. There in particular is bad. We're not so bad at these faster corners where we can get the banking to sort of work for us a little bit. Ugh. But yeah, got no answer for that. For the vehicles ahead, I think we fought about as much as we could. We fought about as fairly as we could, and for as long as we could really hold them off. In the end, just not quite fast enough for the Ranger. Oh, there is a Chevelle closing quickly. It was a very big lunge into the hairpin that did not quite... say big lunge, it was late on the brakes for the Chevelle. It was not quite going to be enough to make up the time to catch this as we round the final corner. It's going to be another 4th place for us. Chevelle gets 5th. Good showing from the Chevelle. And the Audi would come home, I think, in 6th. Speed Beast just lost out a little bit on that final lap there. Yeah, did not. I mean, no one has an answer for the Ranger. That thing's absurd. That's just it. I mean, that's almost irrelevant at this point. It is far too absurdly fast in this. The Chevelle, the Audi, the Cherokee were all kind of close. Again, for that 4th place, the Chevelle getting the slightly better lap time. One more race to go. Yeah, we're not going to be in the hunt for wins, but it's been fun. For our final race, we head to the Emerald Circuit. It is our last chance to be an annoying roadblock. Oh, we're a long way back. If we'd started on the pole, we could have been a really annoying roadblock. I think ultimately we got beaten again, but sadly it's going to be a lot harder to be an annoying roadblock from back here. We'll be a good way up the field by the time we get to a first actual corner, but the McCann starting 2nd, we're not going to be ahead of that. The Ranger Raptor, we're not going to be ahead of that. The Ford, we're probably not going to be ahead of the Ford Raptor either. We might be ahead of the Cherokee, although this track here, with the nature of the circuit, there's a couple of very technical sections. The rest of it's quite fast. So I think the Cherokee might struggle. The RS6 might be quite strong as well. But we might get a good enough launch. That's the test. That's the hope for us here. If we can fling ourselves up the field and then essentially irritate the slightly slower cars, that would be something. As you can see, it is an absolute rocket ship barreling towards technical, well, the real first corner, but we will not be able to carry much momentum through here. That is the downside for me. Now, on the exit, it is again another acceleration zone. This is where the Ranger can potentially come good for me. However, these corners here, can't carry any speed. The Fords are all together. Gliska leads with the McCann. Now we're into the really twisty section that I don't want. We did end up blocking Noobster in a little bit down there. As we all sort of popped out of ghost mode. Chevelle is right on my rear bumper. But that's about to get passed, I think, by the Ranger Raptor. I am all out of sorts, and in expecting some understeer, I missed the checkpoint, and that killed us. I was expecting it to just understeer more than that, so I was trying to anticipate the amount of understeer we were going to get, and our truck actually turned in better. Oh, that's annoying. We have beansed it up at a critical race. It probably would be one of our stronger circuits as well. Oh, that's frustrating. But you see, well, it's a bit academic now, but you see what I meant. If I started at the front half of the field even, we would have led, and then we would have been an absolute nightmare to overtake, because we could have just defended through some of these corners and then outran the second we got to a straight. However, The downside is that this is not an easy vehicle to drive, and yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult to recover really from mistakes with this than some others by virtue of the fact that it is such a handful, and a lot of our positions have come more from defensive driving. It's been from kind of acceleration and then defensive driving than other things. What has fallen back? I think that's when Cherokees has had a little bit of a missed checkpoint moment, which does happen around this track. It is normally the one that I missed, but sometimes the one in front of the hotel is easily avoided as well, especially if there's some contact going on, because I didn't see what happened. We're trying to make the most of our straight line speed. So Gliska leads from the two Fords. It's going to be tough work, I think, for the McCann against that. The Ranger Raptor is very, very, very fast around these seconds. It's slightly weaker when it gets to the tarmac stuff, but it is very good off-road and still strong around here. The Impala's had a moment which we're going to try and profit from here. We've got good speed, but I got nowhere to go at the moment. We will maybe have a look to the inside. No gaps really for us here, although they've run in way too deep trying to defend from us. Yeah. we can brake quite late in this. It's not shabby under braking. It's just mid-corner grip. That's the big problem for us. I don't know what we're potentially catching. The Tornado's not too far down. We're struggling to get that front end to behave, please. There's a whole slew of cars up ahead that we're going to be getting close to catching, but I think we're just going to run out of laps, which is a little bit frustrating. Gliska still leads from the two Fords. Not much has changed up there as we head on to the penultimate lap. If this lot start fighting, that might be an opportunity for me here. If they have a squabble, if they're slow anywhere, we will maybe be able to pick off a couple of cars. I'm not expecting great things, however, if we can just get in range, we can maybe steal a 7th place. That's about as good as it was looking to get. Speedbeast, I think, is a little far out of reach for this race. I think we're faster than the Cherokee here, but we've lost way too much time, unless anything weird was to happen. Don't miss the checkpoint again. That would be a disaster. You can bounce off that wall a little bit awkwardly, but it's not as bad as it could have been. Right, front end, do something, please, do something, go! It's just about done enough, and now we hopefully clear the Jeep into turn... This is technically turn 3, but I kind of call it turn 1, although that is a lot more of a corner in this than a lot of vehicles I've driven. The Jeep is going to have a look around the outside. I'm going to try and give it some space. It did find the wall on its own before it found the Ranger. Now, up the hill, I did not need to hit that wall. We needed a much better run through all of this coming up the hill, because we are a little bit far back, really. It's not impossible. We get a good run through the hotel and get a good exit. I really need them fighting each other some more, and that is what I did need. That has helped me out a lot. Okay, Ranger, use that power. We should leapfrog the Crown Vic as it's struggling to recover from just running a little bit deep through there. Oh, the Jeep's turned up as well and having a look. Might get the Crown Vic, although it's going to be susceptible to outrunning to the line. Unfortunately, it's not a long enough start-finish line for us to beat that Oldsmobile. We're going to have to settle for an 8th at the end of the day. It was a fun enough recovery drive, but yeah, the only way we were going to do well was a good start and then defend. Gliska did take victory, though. Close lap times between Gliska, Noosa, Chromatic as well. The Chevelle not slow around the track, neither was the RS6. Yeah, I mean, we weren't quick, but we could maybe have defended and been a pain in the arse. Unfortunately, silly error from me early on would deny us that opportunity. But, yeah, I mean, look, the Ranger was a little bit of a quirky build. I'm going to call it that. It was an idea, and I mean, kind of worked. It was fun. It was a fun experience. It was not easy to drive, and it is honestly not the fastest thing here, not by a long shot, apart from in a straight line, where it was very good. It was a good test for the old defensive driving, but yeah, it was something different, so I'm glad I went for it, rather than something more conventional, sensible, really. That, though, is going to be it for this video. If you'd like to start to take part in the next one of these, you can via our Discord. There'll be a link in the description. Find the Versus the Community section, and you can register to take part in there. That, though, shall be it from me. Until next time, goodbye.